One Topic, where we stick to one topic. My name is Autumn Fisher.
And my name is Greg Russ.
Why do you have all that mess on the floor?
Laundry.
Oh, it's laundry?
Well, I did 4 loads of laundry yesterday. And
oh, wow.
Some of it wasn't dry when I took it out of the shower.
Out of the shower?
I mean, I know. Hold on. This is the way my brain works. When I took it out of the washer and the dryer, when I took it out of the dryer, but I was getting a Slack message the moment I was speaking. And my brain switched to the Slack message.
That's funny.
And shower came out. I need to pause
Okay.
these fucking notifications. Leave me the fuck alone. All right. But yes, when I took them out of the dryer, they weren't fully dry, so I laid them on the ground to continue to dry in lieu of a clothesline.
Floor.
Yeah, and you got to flip them over at some point.
Yeah. Rotate them around.
Yeah, it's like, making a pancake. You got to flip it.
Flip.
So the rest of the clothes can continue to dry. But yeah, this cable, I couldn't find the cable to my microphone, and I had to dig through the mess.
Why was it in the mess? I don't get it.
Well, I traveled with it to Florida last week, and it was in my backpack. And at some point, I grabbed another cable out of my backpack that I needed, and in the process, I ripped the cable for the microphone out and just kind of tossed it aside.
I see. That makes sense.
It's one of those things that in the moment, as I had the cable for the microphone in my hand, I thought, remember where you put this, because you're going to need it at some point, and then you're going to get really annoyed when you can't find it. And I thought, well, I'll remember that I'm tossing it at the foot of the bed. I didn't remember that. I had no clue where I had tossed it. That's where I found it.
I mean, you kind of remembered because you knew to go to that pile.
Yeah, it was mixed in with the blazers I have purchased.
Blazers?
I have 2. I don't know what's going on. I'm on a fucking spending spree.
Are you stressed?
I mean, it could be stress. I think just in general, I've been thinking about how life just moves by pretty fucking quickly. And I've never really spent, I buy things, and I've started buying nicer clothes and things like that because the quality is better. Again, not getting into fucking designer brands like Louis Vuitton or Coach. Those are jokes. Those things people are just paying for the fucking label, but there's good stitching, good materials, doubling up of layers and stuff with good quality clothing.
They certainly aren't, you can make an argument saying that they shouldn't be that expensive, and you're not really getting anything that much better. But there is a difference between that and fast fashion. Like
H&M.
Forever 21, Target, even
H&M.
Old Navy.
H&M.
Oh, H&M, sure. H&M used to be pretty cool. Everything gets shittier and shittier. It's like the more popular or the more money a company makes, it hits a point where it's like, oh, we can only focus on making money. And so we'll just sacrifice quality to make money.
Well, some of it's churning out. The H&M grew. I remember at one point it was, I don't know the beginnings of H&M in this country, but I remember coming into New York in 2006 and there were no H&Ms in Atlanta. Yeah. So it was a thing. It's like, we're going to go to H&M. And I bought a fucking pea coat for $60, which to me at the time, $60 for a fucking coat. That's insane.
That's true. It'd be like 115 maybe normally.
Or maybe more, like a good one.
Yeah.
And like you said, at some point, the profit margin is purposefully inflated. But then H&M started popping up, in Atlanta and everywhere else. So I think it's a more demand too. So they have to shift where they're creating the clothes to a place that's willing to work people to the bone.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you got to make clothes 24 hours a day. So shift your production. I don't know where they're doing it. I feel like they used to be Vietnam.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll do a quick search. This is why we need a producer. If only we had a little computer in the palm of our hands.
If only.
Yeah, now they're in, I don't know where they used to be, if they used to be anywhere, but they're in China, Bangladesh, and India.
Yeah.
Which is, they've always kind of been known as throwaway clothing. It's like you buy H&M? You buy it's good for a season or two, you throw it away.
Yeah, but it had, I feel like there was a time when H&M was nicer.
You're probably right.
Yeah. Whatever. Everything sucks.
Well, I bought these fancy blazers. I didn't want to buy another blazers. One. Uh-huh. I want to buy another. I need a dark blue one. In my mind, it's like I got to have the full array to complement any attire.
This is the shift. Do you really?
I mean, yeah, this is the shift. I'm making a shift. This is how I'm going to dress. I would like to find some with elbow patches eventually, but I'll tell you, going out in Florida last Friday after, the wedding.
Yeah.
We went to just some bar and I switched from my suit to just one of the blazers that I was wearing and, some gray jeans, dark gray. Okay. But I felt like a real fucking fool amongst those.
What do you mean? Why?
I just felt square, for a lack of a better term, that's not from the 50s. Everyone else is just dressed like you think they would be dressed in coastal Florida.
Oh, you seemed like the man or something.
I don't even know if it was the man. I was just like, oh,
you were just not dressed casual enough.
Yeah, it wasn't like trucker hats and fucking dumb T-shirts, Big Johnson T-shirts.
Oh, but you don't like that.
I know I don't like that.
But wouldn't you be glad that you weren't dressed that way?
I just felt very middle-aged for once, I think.
Oh, everybody looked cool?
Not to me, they didn't look cool, but amongst themselves, they looked cool. So knowing their mindset and the judgments they were probably passing.
What? Why would they be passing judgment on you?
Because of the way I was dressed. Like, oh, look at this loser.
Huh? Wait, but you weren't dressed like a loser. You were dressed nice.
That's what I'm saying. I was in
nobody was dressed
shitty fucking bar where people were singing bad karaoke.
Oh, it was like a dive.
And they're wasted out of their minds.
Okay.
And they're, swamp people.
Okay.
And here I am wearing this thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what are you doing, chump? Get out of here. Go back to wherever you belong. Coastal elite.
I don't know. I think people probably just saw it. And even if they did maybe judge it in some way, you judge it for like 3 seconds and then you move on with your life.
I mean, there was, I don't know who this woman was or why she was talking to people that I was hanging out with, but I was inside and some people went to the back yard area where it was quiet.
Okay.
Where you didn't have to hear bad renditions of fucking Journey and Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody. Always the same fucking songs.
Is that what they did?
Everyone sings the same goddamn fucking songs at karaoke. It's like, switch it up a bit. I know that you want popular songs that people sing along with, but Bohemian Rhapsody, fuck. Again with this fucking shit. And Journey. That aside, I go out back and there's this woman who's got to be 22, 23 years old, really just talking to the wife of one of the guys that was there. And like in her face, not in a nasty way, just like drunk and close and throwing compliments her way. I don't know. And we walk out and I walk out with this other guy and he's about my age, but he's got a long beard and there's a lot of gray in it. And we say hello to the people we know. And this woman just turns to the guy I went out there with and she says, "Too old," and then turned away. And it like crushed his feelings.
Oh no!
It just totally destroyed his feelings. He was.
Oh man, that lady's nuts.
He was. I know, but it was also.
And she was drunk. What are you going to do?
It seemed like it was an assumption that like he was going to come out and hit on her and try to talk to her, and she was just cutting it off at the pass, and then really went after him. And he was telling me about how his wife just left him. She said she was going on a work trip and never came back
What?
So he was already feeling down and broken. I think people have a radar for that stuff.
Fuck that lady.
I know, calling her a lady. She was like a child.
Yeah, fuck that person. It's rude.
But he was already struggling. Like there was at this point, I don't know, maybe approaching a year for him, but it was like it devastated him because there's always two sides of the story, and I didn't really get into anything deep about this divorce, but I said, what did she say? Why she didn't come back? And she says we don't communicate well. I was like, it doesn't seem like she really gave you a chance to communicate. And speaking of not communicating well, saying I'm going on a work trip and not mentioning that you're never coming back. That's a real lack of communication.
Yeah. Who's the bad communicator? I'm confused.
So, he was working through that and has had a tough go at it this past year. And then this woman just out of nowhere, too old. So I don't know. I got out of that place. I'll continue to wear my blazers, though. I'll continue to buy $350, which in the world of blazers, honestly, $350 ain't bad.
Especially $350,
especially for a custom one. You should look at these things. They go up to like $600, $700 if you can get into the stupid Italian materials, which I don't give a shit about, but apparently people do.
Ooh, Italian what? Like fabrics or
wool.
Silk or something?
Yeah, like wool. It's like, okay, who fucking cares? A sheep from Italy is different than a sheep from Ireland. I don't fucking care. I'm sure there's somebody right now screaming, yes, there are different. I don't fucking care. I think that plays into what we're talking about. Like, to me, buying nicer clothes, there's still a limit. I look at things like, do I need fucking fine Italian wool? No, I don't fucking care. So $350. I'll limit it.
But then the other side is that someone's looking at your suits and they're like, why would you do that? Why would you spend your money on that? You can just get a decent suit for much less.
What are you talking about? The suit. You can get a decent suit for much less.
Oh, you can't?
The fact that I get a custom suit, a 3-piece custom suit for $450. Like, they're both sides of it. I guess the side that you're on that says you can get things for cheaper from Marshalls. Uh-huh. It's like, off the rack suits are very difficult to find where they fit very nicely.
Oh, I see.
And you're going to spend some money to tailor pants probably, and maybe the jacket, but most people just deal with what the jacket is. But on the other side,
jackets are always huge on guys.
Yeah, and I hate that.
They're always wearing gigantic jackets.
And on the flip side, there's people who are really into suits like, you fucking loser going to Indochino, which is where I got the suit.
Oh, is that cheap for them? For the fanciest suit people?
I mean, if you look into suits, like $450 is not that expensive. But especially for a custom suit. But I don't, whatever. I like the way they look.
You don't have kids. You have expendable income. Go for it.
I know. I bought another watch, like I said a few weeks ago.
That's right.
I bought another pair of glasses from Moscot, which cost me $440.
Whoa! Now, glasses I don't understand.
Why?
Because glasses, I've seen the that guy that ruins everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like Adam that ruins it or something. And he's talked about, these glass frame manufacturers and how they're all in the same factories and they produce the same product and they put different labels on it, and the same glasses can be $30 or $300.
Well, there is a difference. I agree with you that these Moscot glasses that I'm getting, I also buy glasses from a place called Cubits, which are $200 for the lenses and the glasses, where Moscot, and if I didn't have the 30% discount, would have been close to $500. Wow. And, to me, there's not much of a difference between the two. Moscot's one of these places that's, again, Italy. I don't know what the fuck is up with Italy.
Yeah, what's going on in Italy?
But they're like, the finest Italian acetate. It's like, okay, yeah.
Acetate? Isn't that tape?
Isn't that's what these things are made of?
Acetate. I thought that was some adhesive. I don't know why I thought that.
Yeah, acetate. The finest from Italy.
But the finest, yes, of course.
But they're made in China. So
Oh, they are?
Yeah, so the acetate comes from Italy, but they're actually put together in China. And which is, a big thing across the board. Sure. Even in the watch world, there are people that claim their watches are Swiss made because they use some mass produced a movement that's actually, Swiss, which is, the movement's all the gears and shit that moves the watch. And they're actually just made in China.
That's a lot of things. Like if you look at the frozen fish that comes in those bags from Aldi, it'll say like wild caught Alaskan whatever. And it is that. It's from Alaska. It's wild caught, but it's processed in China because it's cheaper to catch the fish in Alaska, ship it to China, have them process the fish, and then ship it back than it is to like hire people in the US to process it.
Which is ridiculous. Also, people working at the canneries, it's not like they were making a shitload of money, but I guess compared to China, it is still cheaper to put all the fish that were caught in Alaska and ship them across the ocean and ship them back. Because my friend Matt worked in a cannery in Alaska a couple years. It's a season, and I think the cannery like gives them housing and stuff like that, and you just work there. And it's not like he made a lot of money. Some of the cost is offset because I think they covered his lodging and maybe gave him a per diem for food, all the free fish.
It sounds like people that worked in the coal mines.
Yeah, whereas even Cabbagetown in Atlanta, when they built that factory that made the bags for cotton, it was like a mill that made the bags that cotton went in for transport.
Okay.
But I guess there have to be factories for everything. But Cabbagetown was a self-contained community where the factory paid for all the housing. It had all the public services, trash, schools, things like that. And, they contained the people as much as possible. It's like, you belong to us. You lose this job. You don't just lose your income. You lose your housing. You lose everything that comes along with this community.
Get out.
Because you can't live here.
That would be tough. That'd be good while it's good and real bad if it got bad.
Yeah, I don't know, when the factory finally shut down. When I first moved to Cabbagetown, there were still people who'd been living there since when the factory was open and worked in the factory, especially on Gaskill. I don't know how familiar you are with Cabbagetown, but
not really.
Yeah, when I first moved into the neighborhood, so that was 2005, they were older at that point, but there were still quite a few people who'd just been there. And that neighborhood had really gone to shit.
Yeah, I remember. I remember when it was bad, and then it started to be kind of cool, like underground cool, and then it got no longer underground.
Well, the first time I drove through Cabbagetown in probably 2002, there was, what is this neighborhood? I don't know. Where are we? I don't know if I want to be here. And then 3 years later, buying a house in Carroll Street. But yeah, at this point, like any other neighborhood, it's like, all right, good luck, you fucking idiot. You want to live here? You're not rich enough. You want to come to this neighborhood that was for working class people at a factory? Good luck.
Yeah, it turns into that, and then it turns into a bad neighborhood, and then it turns into like, it sort of starts to shift because like gutter punks can live there. People sharing a 100-year-old house, splitting the rent. That's, and then it gets kind of like cool to be there, and then it's no longer cool to be there. Well, and then it's fine. It's like maybe there's like a cushion of like, oh, this is kind of cool, and it's not ruined yet.
At this point, I sold that house just a little bit too early, but I had to get rid of it because I had a balloon mortgage, and then the giant payment was coming due.
Yeah.
And it appraised for only $7,000 more than I paid for it. And then honestly, like 2 years later, it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars more.
Yeah.
So, fuck. Bad. I couldn't hold on. I tried to
How much would you have owed? Do you remember?
I bought the house for $192,500. It wasn't that expensive. Like, it was an old house and it needed work. And when I lived there, I could put in some work, like the work I could do, fixtures and smaller things. But, a lot of those houses on that street had been gut renovated. So they kept the outside, and it's a historic district. So you can't really change the outside of the houses anyway. Like even replacing the siding on that house, it has to be very specific. It had to be like pine siding to match the rest of the neighborhood. But the inside, I guess it's easier to, change the inside. So a lot of those have been gut renovated, and mine was pretty fucking old. So, even with that said, the jump in price would have been substantial.
I'm sorry, but what was your balloon payment that was coming up?
Oh, that's what you're asking. I got one of those fucking interest-only loans that tank the economy. A 24-year-old waltzes into the mortgage office and says, I want to buy a house. Well, what do you make? $38,000 a year. How much do you have in the bank? Nothing. Okay, we can make this happen.
Insane.
And you bring it up to your parents, and your parents say, what is this? And you say, shut up. I'm an adult. Don't you tell me what to do. And
you're excited. You're like, I want to buy something. I want to be a person. I want to be in this stage of my life, whether I'm actually ready for it or not financially. I mean, I went through that when I was looking for a house. I couldn't really afford a house. I was going to, I could have squeezed into something, but I had no liquidity to like fix anything that would come up. Like I would have had to use every ounce of savings, which wasn't that much already. I would have had to borrow money or ask for money from my parents to help with a down payment. And then I didn't have any emergency fund. I had nothing. So I would have had to, if anything happened, water heater broke, roof leaking, plumbing, anything, then I would have just put it on credit cards.
It's a fucking pain owning.
Yeah.
And like you said, anything breaks. And the heater on that house in Cabbagetown, it wasn't the best. It held out, luckily. But there were still other things. Like, for whatever reason, the porch started detaching from the house.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was like settling funny.
Yeah, and even though it had been there for 100 years, the porch started settling in a weird way, and it just slowly was becoming detached, and that needed to be fixed in a very specific way. And the siding, like I mentioned, and having the house painted. Luckily, the roof was new when I bought it, so I didn't have to deal with that. But it's a lot of work that goes into it. And, here in New York, not just the outrageous price of the place that you're buying, but if you buy something, a condo, like the maintenance fees every month are a mortgage on their own.
Really?
It's like $2,000 a month for maintenance fees. It's like, oh,
whoa.
Fuck you. And you have taxes on top of it. I don't even know why it's worth buying. Things are supposed to continue to go up in value, but at some point there's got to be a ceiling, right? And when everything is at least $1 million, does it really continue up? Like Cabbagetown is $192,500. It's pretty cheap to buy in the city. And absolutely. Atlanta's gotten much more expensive, but still, I mean, I don't know, $500,000 for that house that I bought. I still think that in the shape it was in is kind of crazy, but it's probably worth that at this point. But I don't know, in New York, it's fucking gotta be a ceiling.
Have you ever thought about trying to buy there?
It's, for as much money as the both of us make, which is like, I don't know. It's like,
would you move to Connecticut or something?
No. But it's like when you have a combined income of like $250,000.
I know, you guys make a lot of money together.
And so you would think I can buy something. So,
yeah.
Fuck no, you can't. It's the strangest thing. I have no clue. But the balloon payment, anyway, I never actually answered it. So I got the interest only mortgage, 80-20 split, because I had no money to put down. So you take out a 20% loan that becomes the down payment. And the 80%, because I was paying very little principal down. I would only pay principal down if I paid more on the mortgage. If I made the payment, It was interest only. It was front loaded with interest. So, by the time the balloon payment came around, I'd paid off like $3,500. So it was a balloon payment of, I have to do some quick math, but whatever 80% of 192.5 is. So 192 times 80.
Oh.
That was 154. So like $150,000 I was going to owe. Woo! And I couldn't refinance at the time because I was freelancing and I wasn't making that much money. And there's no bank at that point in 2014 that was going to entertain the idea after all the shit they caused in 2008. These days they probably would, because they're sneaking back to it.
Oh, are they?
Not in the same level, but they loosened up a bit. These days the interest rates are so high, even still, that things have slowed down.
Yeah. I don't mind renting. I know that there's all that stuff about like, you're just throwing your money away. Like, no, I'm not. I'm not. I'm able to not have anything pop up. I have like the security of nothing popping up that's going to cost me money and put me into debt or take away money I'm trying to save. I get to squirrel away money. If anything breaks, I call someone to do it. The faucet's leaking. Go fix it, please. Somebody come fix it. Thank you. Even if my drain is clogged, like in the bath, in the toilet, no, fuck, not the toilet. I'm like you with the washing machine in the shower.
Well, the toilet, I would never ask for help. The toilet's too embarrassing.
No, I don't clog the toilet. I never understand people that clog toilets.
And then sometimes you're constipated and it clogs the toilet, and you're in a low flow situation like the Wiley Hotel in Atlanta, and it's like, oh my god, like it goes down, but the bowl itself looks fine, but it's just like jammed in the pipe, the snaking
S curve
pipe. Yeah,
whatever it is, C curve.
And so you let it sit overnight, because that happened at 11:30, and you go to the Home Depot that's close by the next morning, and you sneak in the plunger so they don't ask you what's going on, and you unclog the toilet, and then you leave the plunger there.
Oh God.
I just could have called, and I'm sure that they deal with it all the time, but I didn't.
I know. I wouldn't want to either, though. It's so embarrassing.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
I get it. I wouldn't want to either.
I mean, the heat in my apartment just wasn't working for a while. The guy downstairs sanded his floors over the summer and redid the floors, and in the process took out his radiators. And when he was doing that, he touched the boiler because he didn't want us turning on the heat, because if we did, it would just shoot steam all into his apartment. Yeah. I mean, he started it like the summer.
I thought the boilers were regulated by the landlord.
Well, in this place, other buildings I've lived in, yes, there's some kind of thermostat and the boiler just turns on. Uh-huh. We have the thermostat in our apartment. We control both apartments. Right,
and they call you to like turn it on or something.
Yeah, so he messed with it. And in the summer, we're not going to turn it on, but he started the work when it was still cold on some days or getting chilly. So, he was worried we'd turn it on. So he turned it off. And then by the time it got cold again, it wasn't turning on. And it turns out the heating people came, and he had turned off the water input because it's a steam boiler, gas-powered boiler that creates steam for our heat. And so then it kind of came on, but it wasn't still. Like, I turn on the heat and then nothing would happen. And then maybe a few hours later, something would happen, but it wasn't responding properly. And I swear to God, I didn't believe in ghosts before, but I kind of believe in ghosts now, because
what?
I turn on the thermostat, turn on the heat. No heat would come. I called our landlord. He's like, all right, I'm going to stop by. As soon as he walks in the front door, the fucking heat starts to work. It just turns on, and he goes into the boiler room, and he's like, I don't know, everything looks fine. He's like, okay. And then once the heat reaches temperature and turns off, it doesn't come back on. So I have to bother him again. And then he brings the heating people out. And I swear to God, as soon as the heating people showed up, the heat turned on. It just fucking started. And they said, well, I don't know. Everything looks fine.
Oh, God, that is so embarrassing and awful.
And then they leave. It stops working. And at this point, like, I'm questioning my sanity. It's like, am I making this up? Is the guy downstairs fucking around with us because he has access to the boiler? You have to go in his apartment to get to the...
Like, that's almost as much of a stretch as there's being a ghost.
Him like messing with it?
Fucking with you.
Well,
yeah.
Well, part of me thought, I was like, well, he doesn't like that we have the thermostat, and he wants to make it seem like the thermostat's not working, so they rewire it, and they'll say, well, it's too difficult to get wires up to the second floor, so let's just put him in his apartment so he can have... Like, I'm going into conspiracy.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's a big leap.
But I mean, when the landlord came over, he said it's on in the apartment downstairs on one of the floors. So then that sounds like a pressure issue. But there's different valves and zones, and I thought maybe he's turning off our zone. He's fucking with us. This all comes down to it not working again after the first heating repair visit. So 2 days goes by. I just leave the thermostat on. No heat. Nothing is happening. Yesterday, I get a text. The heating guys are on their way. They'll be there in about 30 minutes. I say, okay. 25 minutes goes by. I hear the heat because you can hear it warming up because it's
like
steamy.
Kicking on.
It starts clanging and stuff.
Yeah.
And
that's the ghost.
And I was like, what the fuck? And honestly, the moment I heard the heat start to, like the steam start to work its way up the pipes, they buzz. The heating people are here.
No.
And I had to go, and it's like, they're luckily friendly, and I made them laugh. My exasperation and the way I presented the story to them made them laugh. But they went and checked. Like, I don't know. Everything seems fine. So I was.
What are you gonna do?
I mean, the other night.
Is it still not working properly?
No, now it's working properly.
Oh.
Part of me thinks, outside of maybe the guy downstairs messing with things, part of me thinks it just didn't have the correct pressure, because they also had to, when he put in new radiators, he didn't do it properly, and one was leaking, and so they had to fix that. So when you take the system apart, it can lose pressure and air pockets and shit can get into it.
Yeah.
And maybe it just had to work through that. Maybe it just took a while to get to the proper pressure. Knock on some kind of wood that it's still.
Yeah, don't talk about it.
But I mean,
it's working too much.
It's working longer than. But it set me up in this position where, at one point talking to the heating people, they're like, "Well, the thermostat's probably reverting to a lower temperature and it's just turning off." It's like, I'm not an idiot. I know how to work a fucking thermostat. So I feel like people think that I'm dumb and don't know how to work a thermostat. I've got this conspiracy theory going that downstairs he wants the thermostat, or he just wants us out of the apartment so he can have the whole place. I have to keep bothering my landlord, which, yes, it's his job, and he was very responsive and didn't make me feel bad, because if he did, he'd be a terrible fucking landlord. But he's not. But still, I don't like to impose on people. So I'm in this position. Annoying. Yeah, I'm in this position where I have to keep asking and keep saying the same thing. So all of these things come together, and I'm just in the worst fucking mood. Just the other night, and just don't talk to me, leave me the fuck alone. And on top of it, it's 58 degrees in the apartment
right now. It is.
No, when it was.
When it was happening.
Yeah, it was when the coldest day of the year had come.
Yeah,
or at least of the fall.
So far,
it's like fucking ghosts. So it's the first time I was like, or it's ghosts.
I guess you're pretty desperate, right? To like figure this out. So you're like, ghosts, I guess.
Well, I have a real problem when things don't make sense rationally and logically.
Yeah.
I'd say, no, what the fuck is going on? That's why I'm reaching for some sort of explanation.
Yeah.
And the most direct explanations are, I'm losing my mind, or the person downstairs is fucking with things, or there's a ghost. That's how desperate I got. But going back to what you're saying, it's like, owning a place this old.
Yeah, owning's a lot.
It's got really steam heat. I like steam heat.
And then you have people like me who call you because, there's hair in my drain and I don't want to get it out. It's gross.
I mean, you should, though. You also live in a building that's got many units, and there's a management company that runs it.
Oh, so. Yeah. It's not like a mom and pop. It's like, it's a huge fucking business. So yeah, they can come and fix my shit.
Fuck them. Make them replace the battery in your smoke detector. Don't pay for that.
Oh, I would never do that on my own. See,
those are things I would do on my own. But again, it's with a landlord who lives in the front building. And it is his responsibility, but I also don't mind doing that stuff. I like being
if it's just a guy, if it's just one person, then I totally understand taking care of some of that stuff on your own, because they're not charging you weird little fees like a company would.
The company's a faceless company that I guess they haven't raised your rent too much.
I mean, it gets raised every year.
Can't you sound like a 5-year lease? 2-year?
No, not that long. I think you can do like 2 years. But
then they raise it more, right?
I don't really know how that works.
Usually you can sign 2 years, but then the increase is going to be this.
I feel like the 2 years is less of an increase.
I would sign 2 years then.
Well, I would too. I don't know what I'm doing.
2 years isn't so long. It seems like a long time, but if
not at all, it goes by so fast, as you're talking about.
If you decide you want to move, or if something happens where you need to move, then I don't know, you figure that shit out.
Yeah, you just wait to move.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. Like I've talked about for a long time about my kids and how over at Travis's house, he has 3 bedrooms. So each kid gets their own room. And for me, I only have 2. So it's my room and then the 2 of them. And, Ellie's getting older, and I don't know when or if I'm going to run into the problem of they're a boy and a girl and they shouldn't be in the same room anymore.
Can it become less structured the older they get, especially because you live so close to each other?
Absolutely. And I guess that's what's going to happen, right? Is that they're going to just, if Ellie doesn't want to share the room tonight, then she'll go over to her dad's, even if he's not there, right? Just like go there. And it's not like she would be totally alone. My parents are literally right next door, and we're all a community. Like they would, you know what I mean? I don't know. I think it would be okay.
I mean, I would love that if I were a teenager and I could go to the other house where the other parent wasn't even home.
I know, but isn't that bad? I feel like that might be a little bad.
Yeah, I mean, when he's not there, it feels like.
Yeah.
Again, as a teenager, I would have loved that.
I mean, just to sleep, but then she could sneak a boy over or sneak out or something.
Yes, as a parent, I feel as though the responsible thing is like, well, no, if you're there alone, then no. But, well, didn't you say like converting part of your apartment?
I say that as in like, I don't know what else I'm going to do.
Oh, was it the dining room area?
Yeah.
I mean, that could make a bedroom.
It really could. I mean, I could put up, there's like, there's ways to put up some privacy or something, but it just is like not ideal.
I would just ask what it costs to put in walls. People do that all the time. Like you can put some relatively temporary walls in there. They're obviously not load bearing. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are there, but
temporary walls.
Yeah, in New York, like a lot of those lofted places.
Yeah.
They're just wide open spaces, but a lot of people want to live there with other people. And
yeah,
they, people come in and they just build basic drywall structures. So you do wall it off because they're not load bearing. It's not super expensive, and it's ceiling to floor. I guess you've got some carpet in there, so that may be a little more difficult than a hardwood floor because they maybe have to cut up part of the carpet, which you'd need to replace later on. But there are ways to do it. I feel like it would really just need to be one wall and a quarter of a wall.
Yeah, it would be just the close off the entrance into the kitchen, or make that door. Like some sort of make that like a curtain
or a door.
Little door.
But I feel like there need to be another door. Not.
I mean, yeah, it looks like there are some solutions. Mounted L-shaped partition with wall. I don't know. Looks interesting.
But again, I don't know what the rules are at the place. You could try to sneak it in, or you could just ask them.
Yeah. It's so silly. Like I've had twice in maybe 3 years. I've had someone tell me that I need to remove the table from outside of my door because I found this table. This sounds worse than it is. I found a table by the dumpster. Because the dumpster is like a treasure chest and also a dumpster. Still a dumpster, sometimes a treasure chest, because people from all around the neighborhood and within the apartment just leave stuff on the side if it's in good quality or if maybe they think somebody would pick it up. So I found this table, and it's a really tall table and it's round, and the two sides
it's like a bar
of it
table.
Huh?
It's like a bar table.
Kind of, yeah, I think so. It's round, but the two sides of it of the circle are not a leaf, but they bend down, like they can fold down. So I have one side up and one side down, and I put the one side down up against the brick wall, and it's in a corner, and it's really pretty, and it's decorated, and it's dusted. It's not falling. It's not gross. It's cute. I have it decorated. Anyway, I've had twice someone say, the first time it was just a maintenance guy saying like, hey, they're going to ask you to take that down because they're like cracking down. I was like, okay. I didn't do anything. And then recently they had sort of like the bigwigs come by and do some inspection on the apartments or the grounds, and they called me and said that I have to remove it. I said, okay, I'm not moving it. It's fine.
So where is it?
It's right outside my door. Like there's my door.
The front door.
Yeah, my front door. If you immediately turn right, instead of, you'll run into like a corner. You'll run into a corner.
Well,
and then if you keep following the wall, you'll go down the steps. But like, it's a little corner. And so I put my table right there in the little corner.
Your dumpster cute. Table.
Yeah, so many of my things are dumpster things.
You need to step up your game.
Yeah, I need to look in more dumpsters to find better.
You deserve
stuff.
more than dumpster goods.
Oh, that's true. But it's better. I'm keeping it alive, giving it a new life.
You're going to start buying, dumpster diving for those gross old rugs that you see online, the rug cleaner.
Oh, I love those rug cleaner. I wish I had a power washer so bad.
They use more than a power washer.
Yeah, they use all kinds of like they use almost like a floor buffer, right? Like a waxer.
They use that. Yeah, they use the traditional Stanley steamer looking thing.
So good.
It's people ask the question in those videos, which is very fair. Why does this rug exist like this? Like at that point, it's worth just buying a new rug. Also, people's rugs don't really get that dirty, but
some do when they've been like peed on a billion times and stuff. It's gross.
Yeah, well, I think they also do find those in dumpsters, and apparently they clean them and then donate them.
Oh, okay.
So other people can have nice rugs like you. Even though the rug's history is, filled with feces and piss and bugs and blood. Spilled bolognese sauce.
Yeah, I've seen those ones where they put it in, they roll it up and they put it in a bag, and then they put solution in the bag and like let it sit overnight. And then when they open it, they open it to drain it, and they talk about how much it smells. It's like, God, what a terrible, awful.
But it makes good videos. People love watching it.
I do like to watch it.
Everything's a video now. I'm surprised there's not more videos of just like train operators in the subway. Maybe it's not allowed.
I don't know.
I feel as though people would watch those going along.
I feel like you would watch that.
Yeah, but I guess there's only so much you can do. Like the tracks are the tracks, and once all the tracks are covered, there's nothing really new popping up. Where these carpets, while it is kind of the same thing, it's results oriented for that specific rug. So, like, can they clean this one? This one looks so terrible. I don't know. Rugs. I would bought some area rugs for the apartment since it's hardwood floors, and that's one thing I know. I bought like $150 rugs. I guess those real Oriental rugs go for thousands of dollars.
Oh, don't do that. Go to Costco and get you a rug.
I didn't. I bought from like rugs.com or something.
Oh, okay.
They
Is that
delivered.
Worse?
I don't know. They're nice. They're fine. Like I think they're nice if you
excuse me.
If you look at the messy picture of the floor, you'll see a rug under there. It's nice.
Yeah, I saw the rug. I noticed the rug.
I think it's fine, but somebody would come in snooty, like synthetic, machine-made rug, not hand-twilled.
Yeah, hand-knotted.
Is that what makes those so expensive? Are they made of like alpaca and llama hair, and they're done by hand?
I don't think it's necessarily the fabric that it's made of. Maybe it is, but it's hand woven, hand knotted, stuff like that.
So what at that point then?
Well, because there probably is a loss, a dying art of handmade ruggery.
Yeah, I can appreciate it. I saw some guy made like a thatched thing out of bamboo.
Yeah, his like 1,000-year-old house or whatever.
It was fine. Like, it was cool. He took one piece of bamboo and like cut into the smallest fucking strips by hand. And I'm sure it wasn't easy work and his hands hurt. But also it's not really realistic. Like I guess the question is, what more are you getting out of it if you're willing to pay just because it's hand done is more of a vanity thing. It feels like.
Well, I think for that guy, his house really is from like the Middle Ages or something. And it's always had a thatched roof. And so if
he's doing it for himself, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I think there are some instances where getting something handmade is probably worth it. Also, if it's jewelry or something, a person can give their personal touch, and there's maybe some imperfections which are cool. But things like a rug, it's like, is it that much better than if a machine makes it?
Yeah, you're just stepping on it.
Yeah, or is it just so you can say this is handmade and I paid $10,000 for it?
Yeah, there's certain things, but it's just like what you're talking about with your suits or your watches and your glasses. It's like you're deciding what you'll spend your money on, and other people are also deciding what they'll spend their money on.
Yeah, which is totally fair. I've just elevated to a level where I feel as though I've been spending not a lot of money on things in the past, and they are cheaper and they fall apart. And I see, like, even furniture, shit that you buy on Target.com or Overstock.com, and that comes in a box that you have to put together, and it's like flimsy. Like you push on one side of it like a TV cabinet or something, and the whole thing like kind of,
That's how my IKEA dresser is.
Yeah. It's like,
I'm annoyed.
There's a difference. You get well-built furniture, it doesn't move like that. It's like it's sturdy, and I think it's worth investing in that. But there's certainly an upper limit, and like you said,
I think it is too. I just don't have the cash,
the funds.
Yeah, but there are some things you don't even need to buy new. You could buy quality things from Facebook Marketplace, and
I mean, it's a good place. This furniture that I bought.
Yeah. You're mid-century modern.
Yeah, it's mid-century modern, and I paid a little bit more because I didn't do the searching myself. You go through a place that finds it for you, but they obviously found it from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So if you did the work yourself, you could probably find it. And sometimes people are pretty crazy. Like, I don't know, I just don't even want this thing. Give me $50 for it.
Yeah.
If you promise to take it out, you promise to take it out of here, and I don't have to worry about that, and you give me $50, we're fine. And then, a lot of these stores then turn around and sell it for $1,100.
Yeah. Yeah. Furniture new feels a little bit like a crime. I feel like at Costco, you can get a big, awesome, I call it like a fuck you couch. There's just those giant couches, Anyway, you can get
We're the
those
Costco guys. Of course, we jerk it on this big fuck you couch.
$1,300. $1,200.
That's a lot.
I feel like that's pretty cheap.
I mean, it is in the furniture world, but I also
for furniture, for a couch,
it's relatively cheap. You can certainly get things for cheaper that are crappier. I don't know the quality of Costco.
Costco can be pretty good. I like everything I've gotten from Costco.
Costco can be pretty fucking weird.
I love it.
You need a new roof. Need a new garage door.
Want to go on vacation?
Yeah, that's another thing I booked. My friend Dave, who I went to the World Series game with last year in Texas, just out of the blue. We're like, let's just go. This year, because it was the Dodgers and Yankees, tickets were like $4,000 a piece. Like, fuck that shit. So he ended up just booking a trip to Dublin. And even though I was just in Ireland, a year and a half ago, he asked if I wanted to go. And I was like, I don't know. But then I just said, fuck it. Who fucking cares? Yeah. And so I booked a ticket.
Wow. You really are spending money.
I know. I'm spending a lot. You know how many firm loans I have at this point?
You're using a firm?
Just to spread out the payments. There's no interest. I wouldn't do it if there were interest involved.
Oh, okay.
But if they're offering
and you have the money for it.
Yeah, if I had to pay it off now, I could. But if they're offering me pay this off over, 2 months and there's no interest and you can spread it out one payment every 2 weeks so it lines up with a paycheck, then sure, why not? If I'm paying interest, it's different. But these are all
that's what scared me.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not putting myself in a spot where I'm spending a shitload of money in interest. I do avoid that. Point is, he booked this trip and I asked him what hotel he was staying in. He's like, I don't know. I'm going to go to Costco, figure it out.
Yeah. I'm going to go to my little travel agent that I trust. It's called Costco.
Go to fucking Costco to figure out your hotel. Are you really getting that better of a deal?
Sometimes. Like you can get sometimes you can get really cheap what's it called? Rental cars.
I already get cheap rental cars.
It just depends. Sometimes it's sometimes it's cheaper. Sometimes it's not. I don't know. You have to shop around. You have to just double check.
I use Avis.
I find it's cheaper because and I use my Costco credit card and I'm using it properly. You know what I mean? Like I pay it off bi-weekly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting all the points. I'm getting money back from Costco. So it's paying for my membership and giving me extra money. So it's kind of worth it sometimes, even if it is like, if I could get it cheaper from Amazon, I could maybe still benefit more by getting it from Costco.
With rental cars, I just use Avis and use the Lockheed booking code. And I have an old business card for my dad if they ever were to ask me to prove that I work at Lockheed, since we have the same name. I would just flash that, even though it's fucking old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, the booking code gives you discounted price and like collision waivers included, which I didn't know. And when I backed a pickup truck into a pole in Wyoming, and the problem is I already called my insurance company and started a claim, and I had no clue that I was covered because I never heard anything. And I thought, what the fuck? Why didn't I hear anything about that? Like I destroyed the back of that car. And then I looked into it. It's like, and it said damage waiver included. It's like, wow. Too bad my insurance company now knows.
Yeah, can you call the insurance and be like, cancel that? I was just kidding.
I mean,
I was on drugs. I don't know who that was.
I just gave them a heads up, and I guess they wait to hear because I shared the claim. They gave me a claim number, and then I shared that with the car rental company. I wrote it like, you have to fill out this form, and I wrote it on there, and nothing ever came of it. So, the insurance company just never heard from them, I guess. And that was that. But still, they know that I opened a claim, so they know there was an accident.
They know. And
they probably are saying, well, that was your... Geico always says, you get one for free, depending. And that was probably my free one.
They say you get one for free?
Something like that. Like the first accident doesn't raise your rates. But again, I'm sure there's many stipulations surrounding that. In general, everything goes up. Well, we have to increase your premium. Just costs are going up on our end. Same thing with health insurance. We got to increase the premium. Costs are going, always going up.
Everything.
Forever.
Everything costs more.
Forever.
Everything costs more. Everyone says how well they're doing. No one is paying you.
How's the mustard business? Hot sauce business?
It's good.
They paying you a lot?
It's really good. We got some sales going on.
Yeah, they paying you a lot?
Early Black Friday.
You got a good salary coming in?
I have a salary coming in.
Oh, is there ways to raise it?
Hopefully eventually. Right now, no, but I think I'm adding to the business. I'm doing a really good job, and I think I'm bringing something to it. So I don't think that they're going to.
You should have your own discount code. And when people write and complain and you get them to come back to the company, like they're writing and saying, fuck you, I'm never buying from you again.
And then I schmooze them.
And then you say, and you know what? I'll give you this discount if you come back. We're sorry. And then they use your code, and that way they can track it and they can actually see how much business you're bringing back to them.
Well, if you use our code OneTopic15, you'll get 15% off.
Does that still exist?
Yes. And right now we have gift boxes for Christmas.
Nobody even knows what you didn't even say what the mustard is.
It's a hot sauce. It's hoffandpepper.com. Hoff.
You just assume that people know.
Yeah. Well, if you're listening to this and you follow me online, you probably have seen my posts.
Do people follow you online?
I guess I'm assuming.
How many people you got following you online?
Where? On Facebook?
I don't know any of them.
For
being a big local celebrity in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. Big celeb.
I feel like it falls short. Not you, just in general. Anyone on the radio these days doesn't really pull a big social media following.
And that's fine.
Are you going to do anything?
1.7K.
Huh. And what is that? Instagram?
On Facebook. That doesn't really count. because it sucks.
You should think about doing something like Autumn's Beliefs, where you sit there and you just talk to the camera for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I should.
And see how many people.
I bet you that'd be really good.
You can talk about all the feedback you get. You say, I just constantly hear from people.
Well, I do. You know, I get constant feed. I mean, like people go crazy when they hear our episodes. They have so many thoughts and things that they want to tell us. And it's like, whoa, this is crazy, guys.
I mean, so many people are angry, but then on the flip side, so many people agree with us. It's just insane the number of people that respond. And then you look at the engagement with the post and it's 1 heart and 0 comments. It's too inside. This is too inside of a conversation. We went 15 minutes long.
I know, my groceries are delivered. They're sitting outside.
Right, go get your groceries. The ice cream's melting or some shit.
Oh, I didn't get any ice cream. I should have. The kids really want ice cream.
Ice cream's something you should only have during birthday parties. Shouldn't be in the house at all times.
Shut up.
Yeah, I eat ice cream for breakfast.
I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
Yeah, you're excited for Happy Gilmore 2.
Is there a Happy Gilmore 2?
You didn't know they're making a Happy Gilmore? This has been big news across the board. Yes.
I don't think so. Maybe I did know. And maybe I tried to push it out of my mind because I was making.
He's still married in this one, or with the same woman, which is nice.
Oh, because, with what's her name from Modern Family?
I guess. What was her name in that movie?
I don't know.
Veronica Vogoka, because there's always VV. There was Vicky Vaughn. There was the one who never acted again from
Julia
The
Waterboy.
Julia? Yeah, he ditched the VV there. The one from The Waterboy never acted again, I don't think.
Oh, I never liked Waterboy.
Neither did I. I didn't like the way he spoke.
It was annoying.
Yeah, Virginia Venet is the one from Happy Gilmore. I don't know why all the women had VV names. For a bit. Waterboy cast.
Maybe it's like vagina.
Vicky Valancourt was the Waterboy.
All right, I'm going to go.
But anyway, yes, I just want to say quickly, they're doing the second one, and it's nice because usually in those movies, they don't like the way the women have aged and they're not hot enough anymore. So whenever they do a sequel that's so far removed, it's like, oh, well, we got divorced or the relationship didn't work out because in real life, and Top Gun did that with the woman.
Yeah, well, but I thought that actress was like, I don't want to be in the.
Maybe she said that too, but I think it was probably mutual. She had put on weight and they're being nasty.
I mean, whatever. Stop making things again. Like stop making sequels or reboots. Just make something new.
Happy Gilmore 2.
Electric Boogaloo. Folie à deux.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, thanks everybody. We never opened the show, but
shh, just end it.
All right, thanks everybody. Talk to you later. Love you. Bye.
Now record the opening.
Welcome to One Topic, where we stick to one topic. My name is Autumn Fisher.
And my name is Greg Russ. I don't know why we just don't do it up top.
I know. We just start talking. I can't stop eating these things. They're so good.